It's 7 o'clock. Welcome to our regularly scheduled commission meeting. Before we get things started, if you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. The first item on this evening's agenda is to consider the minutes of the June 9th meeting as well as the June 18th budget work session.
So move we approve.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a couple of seconds. Awesome. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Next item this evening is a staff roundtable as well as some info from PEC to discuss the depot district and next steps. Who's gonna, Daniela, you gonna tee that up?
Yes. We have representatives from PEC to kick off the conversation with a highlight of the analysis that was done in the depot, and then I'll wrap it up with a quick update on the RFP.
Perfect.
So I'll ask them to come forward. And
Good evening, commissioners and staff. It's good to be here. I'm Suzanne Loomis. I'm with Professional Engineering Consultants. I think most of you know me. And we did the building assessment, and we teamed with Gravity Works Architecture, and Vince Haynes is here with them. Our staff looked at all the engineering items associated with the building, you know, structural, electrical, mechanical, some of the civil site stuff, and then Vince focused on all of the architectural side. That's really the interesting side, and he's going to kind of go over that with you. The big takeaway that I would tell you, and if you've looked through the report, you've seen that, everybody after they did the visual inspection of the building, everybody was really surprised that they thought the building was in pretty good condition for the age of the structure. And so I think that's good news overall. Of course, consider the age, so getting some things up to speed, there's a cost to that, but Vince will go over some of those things with you, and if you have questions, we'll try to answer those. If not, we'll get back to you with answers. Vince?
Thank you. My name is Vince Haynes with Gravity Works Architecture. As Suzanne mentioned, we did team with them to walk through the building and could kind of get a opinion or a assessment of its current condition and its viability for investment, I guess. As she said, I think the quick takeaway was while the building finishes are and interior finishes and such are dated and at the end of their life, and mechanical systems are at the end of their life, the building as it stands is in quite remarkable condition. One of the things we look for when we see an all masonry building like that is cracks in the brick. There certainly are some cracks that show movement, but not out of character and not alarming one bit. The report talks about, structural engineering talks about that the brick is all great, we're ready to go, no structural issues. In the architectural side, it'll say, well, you need to pay attention to the brick because there's some tuck pointing and waterproofing and stuff like that. So the difference there is a structural analysis, a structural opinion versus a weatherproof and an exterior wall condition. So that's the differences you'll see here in terms of the wall, brick, the exterior of the building in its opinion. It's not wholesale. I too was pretty surprised at the mortar joints and those things. That's kind of the first thing to fail. There are some absolutely that need to be addressed, but it's not a wholesale issue. The other thing that I noticed about it, again, back to the finishes and sagging tiles and stuff like that are just a product of the building with aged equipment, HVAC equipment, as well as it being empty and all of the thermostats turned down and all the things associated with that raises the humidity level inside the building and causes some of that wrinkling in the carpet, sagging of tiles. And we didn't see any indication of mold at all, so we weren't really concerned with that. The good things really about that is it has survived. The historical details have survived the years, which is a really good thing. Specifically windows and doors and some of the detailing in the rail depot, the Amtrak portion of that. That, to me, is an important point to understand as you look towards the future viability of the building and as it may fit towards historic tax credits. A lot of times we find, come onto buildings like this, and the windows have been replaced with energy-efficient windows and the like, and then the Historical Society, to qualify that, you got to spend a big piece of your dollars just trying to get the fenestration back to where it was. That's not the case here. So what that tells me is the possibility of tax credits and other kind of historic preservation grants and stuff can be driven to something a little, to something else rather than just trying to get it back to the way it was. That was my observation there. There's a couple of things that we would recommend over and above what we do, and that is an elevator inspection. The elevator was not operational when we were there. It was simply turned off, we were told, but that it is operational. A quick look at it, couldn't get inside, but a quick assessment would tell us that it doesn't meet today's elevator regulations per state, and the state fire marshal weighs in on that. So that for sure needs to be done. And asbestos, we were not asbestos certified inspectors. Didn't see any, quite frankly, we didn't see anything that jumped out at us, but that didn't mean there was not be pipes hidden in a crawl space or hidden somewhere that we didn't see quite a bit of that. You'll see some of the pictures, water in the basement, really very limited, in my opinion, based on the age of the building. And it may be, going back and looking at some pictures before coming in here, I think likely culprit might be penetrations of plumbing and such going through the wall. That might be the cause of that. It really wasn't very much water. Electrical service is strong. I think it's two 800 amp services, which gives the building is set up for some good, set up well for that. HVAC systems are at the end of their life, and the like. So, yeah, to summarize, the building is in remarkably good condition in our opinion, but its systems are towards the end of its life. So.
Can you say some about that tile roof? I've been part of so many conversations about that tile roof.
Yeah.
That could be, if you replace it with like-kind material, some people have said it could be upwards of $1 million. I know there's also synthetic material that's a look-alike. Can you just say more about what your recommendations or where you would point a development to?
That's a great question. Thank you. The flat roof portions of that we felt like were in workable. They were in good condition with some patching required, but specifically to the tile or to the slate roof. It is towards the end of its life, and it's got several broken ones, and the flashing's compromised, and it's also causing some rotting or decay around the eaves and that kind of thing. And you're right. We estimated, or what's put in the estimate budget here is a price per square. Per square is 100 square feet. Square of roofing is how that's done. So, it ranges from $3,500 to $5,000 per square. And we did call and talk to a couple of roofing companies to kind of get a feel for what it would take to do that. That puts it in the $800,000 to $1 million range to go back with a slate roof. I think the question could be asked, there are some modern products that look slate, and that would be actually a conversation to have with the Historical Society in terms of what they would accept as an alternate. But yeah, the slate roof is yeah, thanks for saying something. The slate roof is also it's nearing the end of its life. Several broken, and a good hailstorm will not be favorable. So.
Anything else? Danielle, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. So very, very quick update. The next steps would be, so the path forward for the Depot District would be for city staff. Well, actually, we're currently working on the RFP. So We plan to provide City Commission with a proposed RFP in the coming weeks, months, seeking qualified developers, development teams, public-private partnerships, and redevelopment organizations who have the experience, the capacity to finance, develop, construct, activate all the things that we are wanting. And that includes at the Depot District, which is the Depot and 320 North Main. I'll have more details for you regarding this process, but I just wanted to let you know with the wrap-up of the study that staff is actively working on something that we'll bring to you in the coming months. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. The next item this evening is to receive a presentation from Eleni Albrecht from Walk and Roll regarding the survey about biking to school.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, staff. Yes, I wanted to start with thank you. The City of Newton has supported the Healthy Harbor Coalition, Walk and Roll, the Health Department, and so many health endeavors. So I wanted to start with that. And then I wanted to ask you a question. Do you remember when you were in 6th, 7th grade during the summer? Do you remember how life was for you guys when you were about that age? So the Walk and Roll, the health department, in conjunction with the schools, with the Newton schools, did a survey regarding biking and walking to school. And we wanted to see what were the challenges that families faced or perceived. And then I wanted to give you guys a quick report. So 70 of the 171 people that responded said that they're not willing to walk and bike to school because of weather, and I understand that. I'm not also one for walking or biking in the rain, but it's not that weather every day of the year. So there are some days that anyone could do that. Their second concern was missing or inadequate sidewalks and crosswalks, and that's one thing that I would suggest you guys consider in the future. And I know you guys are already working on safer streets for all. And the third one, parents are worried about bullying, crime, or dangerous driving near the schools. And it's a great reminder for all of us that we should be doing a better job and focusing on driving and not speeding. Also, I ask about 6th or 7th grade because about half of the parents or caregivers say that by that time they are willing to let their kids walk or bike to school. So it's a good thing to have in mind when we are planning things to improve in our city, that we are looking at that population or a little bit before to give the kids a better future and a better infrastructure. The areas of concern that parents had was Old 81 and 24th Street, 12th and Boyd Avenue from 12th to Broadway. And why are we talking about safety, and why are we talking about biking and walking to school? It increases physical activity, which improves mental health, it promotes independence, and it supports the workforce. And as a parent, I will share that my son is going to go into 5th grade, and he, during the day, is around South Breeze, and I've just recently allowed him to bike to the high school for sports, and it's scary. So I tell you all of that, but also as a parent, I am facing that right now, and there are things that me as a parent should be doing and talking about my child about safety, but also there's more that people in general and the city can support. And by supporting, I would love if people would show up on Thursday, July 9th at noon at Northridge. We're going to do a walk audit using an AARP method template, really, and just figure out what is it that we can improve around that area, and we're going to give that report. And now I would like to invite Dana to share some information.
One of the problem areas that you just mentioned is 24th and Old 81. We were approached 2 or 3 years ago by some residents of North Newton about the situation there. They've got folks living in the subsidized housing in particular who do their shopping at the Dollar General, which is on the west side of the highway there. They really wanted to see a crosswalk and wanted that to be part of our agenda. And we've kept that in mind, and with this survey, that certainly brought it back big time, that one of the parents, at least one of them, complained about that. I was up at that, at their office this morning and had a chat with their manager. 33% minimum of their residents do not have a car. They walk. Maybe they have a bicycle, but they walk, and they're not necessarily in the best physical condition either. And yes, most of their people do most of their shopping at the Dollar General. And yes, they would like very much to see a crosswalk there. We discussed possible locations. I think that's better left up to the engineers and so forth. But 24th Street did not seem to be the best spot. 22nd or 23rd looked better in that regard. Now, North Newton's got some issues there as well. They don't have any sidewalks going to any of these locations, but at least they have quiet streets, and the residents are already used to walking on them. They didn't complain to us about their streets. They commented about not having a crosswalk. So that's what I have to say about that. You'd have to work with North Newton on this, but really, I think this is a good idea. And in some place, it just demonstrates, I think, that this survey was about kids walking to school. Well, this demonstrates the possibility that wouldn't just benefit them, it could benefit all of us. And as far as walking to school, there was one more thing that came out in that study. A lot of people did not want their kids walking to school before 5th or 6th grade. One of them said 10th grade. First 8 years of my life, I spent living right outside the DC line in tract housing, rather crowded area. We had to cross Indian Head Highway, major highway, to get to our elementary school, and I walked from the first day of school. Now, my parents walked me the first time, but I walked every other day, rain or not. That people are so concerned about safety for any reason that they would say as late as 10th grade to start walking to school. Perhaps there's some other issues, but that really struck me as odd. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
All righty. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item this evening is to conduct a hearing considering the removal of Newton Housing Authority commissioners. Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. As you said, this item was originally scheduled as a hearing to consider the removal of 2 NHA commissioners. However, this afternoon, the city did receive resignations from Amanda Buffalo and Deborah Kingsley. So given these resignations, the hearing would be moot. There's no need to conduct it. The city commission is now free to appoint 2 members to these recently created vacancies.
Okay,
You're free to proceed.
All right, thank you. I do want to thank all of the past, present, and future board members of NHA, as well as any of the volunteer boards in our community. It takes a lot of time and effort, and sometimes it goes unthanked, and I do want to say thank you for that. I also want to thank Amanda and Deb for their resignations. That was very honorable. Thank you for that. And with that, I would call for a motion to appoint, let me make sure I get the names right. Call for a motion to appoint Peter Miller and Amber Kane to fill the 2 remaining vacancies on the NHA board.
I move that we appoint the 2.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. The next item this evening is to consider a resolution to establish a reinvestment housing improvement district, also known as RHID, for property located at Southwest 24th Street and west of Anderson Road. Zach?
Thank you, Commission. This is the first step, in creating the resolution for the Reinvestment Housing Improvement District. This would basically say we intend to create an RHID. This first one is out by Sand Creek Station. It's the golf course, or the clubhouse just sets north to this outlined property here, roughly 30 acres. We have Mark Elder here with Lang Real Estate to represent the application if you guys have any questions. Their intent, I believe, is to do about 60 lots approximately. These houses will range in the $400,000 to $600,000 price range. Our current draft form, I believe, housing needs assessment shows that we need at least 10% of like executive level housing that would fit that criteria, or this would fit the criteria. I believe they're asking for the RHID to cover the infrastructure costs, so there would be no special assessments to the property or to the houses. So the winner here is the end user, the person who buys the house. So correct me if that's wrong. If you So yeah, this is step one. If you approve a resolution here tonight, then we would send that over to the Department of Commerce, getting the process started, and then we would then take this project to the county and school board for their review before Commerce either denies or approves the resolution.
Ready. Thank you, Zach.
Do you have a number?
I do.
G1382.
I move we approve G1382.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Next item is another RHID for Blaine Street in Southeast 10th.
I will not give the same spiel over again. It's the same one, just a different area. Mr. Legali sends his regrets. He was going to try to be here tonight to represent this. This would be for phase 2 of Fox. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the apartments. Apologies. This is the Fox Ridge apartment complex. Mr. Legali plans to build a couple apartment buildings here. I've seen some preliminary work with like dog park and other amenities in there. This is just another caveat to that, but he's looking to establish the RHID for the apartments here.
Number of units?
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, we're pushing 100, I would say.
2-story, 3-story?
Again, preliminary work, and it's been a minute since I saw it, so I don't want to overstate what's there. So like I said, I wish Mr. Legali could have been here tonight to kind of clarify, but I would say at least 3 stories, if memory serves.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get info.
Oh, we will.
All righty. Any further discussion? You have a number?
G1383.
I'll call for a motion.
Is there a motion?
Are you going to do the motion?
Yeah, I was going to. I thought. I move that we approve G18. What was it?
G1383.
G18.
1383.
383.
I got it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Next item, Zach, you're not done yet. Another RHID for South Kansas Ave, Southeast 11th.
This is also a Mr. Lagali project. This is Fox Ridge Phase 2. You're familiar with Phase 1 that's getting close to being completed there. He's looking to do an RHID for infrastructure only on this. So this is just to get the streets in and all the utilities and not pass off any special assessment to the end user. And yeah, it's same spiel, same setup, and I can answer any questions that I may or may not have the information to.
Now, these are the ones that will have properties backing up against existing
Yes.
properties.
Yes.
And nothing's materially changed in
Nothing.
single-family homes backing up to single-family
Nope.
homes.
It's all
and-
single family homes on the perimeter. Yeah. No changes to this.
Okay, because I know that was one of the big
Oh.
Yeah.
expectations from the original. Okay.
And just a reminder, he did not, Mr. Lagali did not request or go through the RHID process for Phase 1. He did everything the traditional method.
Well, I move we approve G1384.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Next item this evening is to consider a request to close West First Street from Meridian to Grandview and Grandview to Athletic Park entrance. Denise?
Yes, I'm looking at your blank sheet here in the agenda packet, but for some reason it didn't come over, but I'm looking at mine that has it on there. So the Harvey County Free Fair is asking for the street closure for the parade, and it's going to be from West First Street and Meridian to Grandview, and then Grandview to the Athletic Park Circle. And they want to close the street on, let's see here, August 8th. And they would be doing that from 6 o'clock to, or 5 o'clock to 6:30. And then staff has also, they have a list of all the things that they are requesting staff to do, plus there's a schedule for the fair in your packet, and staff has met with them, I believe, a week ago, and have gone over all those plans and everything. So would recommend your approval.
I move we approve the request to close West First Street.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All righty. Now we are at Citizens Forum, and Mike Fellows, come on down.
I got a couple handouts for all of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I give them to the kids when they can't answer a question, then they get a study manual.
Thank you. Thank you.
The 24-year-old
That
didn't
time again?
appreciate it. It's awesome. You got 5 districts now, look at you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mike Fellows, and I represent the Harvey County Constitution Contest. We started the contest about 4 years ago, and it's been wonderful because over the last 3 years, we've had one of the commissioners serve. Thank you, Leroy. And thank you all of you for your service that you guys give the community. I should have started that way. This is the 4th year of the contest. All 5 of the high schools have agreed to let their students participate. I have to work with the social science teachers at the 5 high schools in Harvey County so they can give the students basically what I gave you tonight. They'll have a flyer, but theirs will have the question that we're going to come up with yet this year. And then it gives you the prize money, and we list all the sponsors that are involved in the process, because I try to involve students, teachers, businesses, city commissioners, school boards, and county officials in the process. So I'm out recruiting judges tonight. In the packet that I gave you, you'll see that on the times have already been set for when that contest starts, when the contest essay questions are due, when the judges meet, which is October 15th at 6 o'clock, and then when we hand out the awards. On the back of the flyer, they'll have all the rules and regulations that go with the program so that they follow the rules and we can get the papers entered and submitted correctly. It takes about 4 hours to judge the papers. So when you commit, you're committing to an evening to me. But prior to that, this year, we had great input from the judges last year. I wish Kathy was here to thank her. One of her ideas was when we hand out the question to the judges, we give you a study guide so that, because you're all busy and you shouldn't have to spend weeks or days researching the questions, so that when you read the answers that the kids give you, you don't have the information in front of you. So we're going to try to make that adjustment. We're going to simplify the grading and ranking process this year. So those are a couple of the tweaks we're going to make, but it's really important that we get the judges involved, because I want the community to kind of see what the judges think about what the kids are writing in school, because their paper will be published, I hope, with Adam and Chad following the contest. So I'm here tonight soliciting, asking for a volunteer. One of the commissioners that possibly might want to do it this year. I may have an inkling, but I told him I wanted to come talk to the group. So
I'm willing to do it.
Okay.
If no one else wants to, I'd be glad to.
You just need one, or?
We just do one. Is what I end up getting. I meet with all the school boards and all the city commissioners or council members. So I try to get one representative from each group because they represent their high school area. So I hope to end up with like 12 judges this year. We had 11 last year, and it worked really good because the papers are very different, how they attack the question. Leroy knows this because he spent an evening with us. But the other thing that's important is I think how the judges look at the papers and how they understand the information that they're given. The results are always interesting, you know, in terms of the papers that win and how the rankings come out. We're very fortunate. He's not here, and he'd be mad at me if I said this, but Carson Mateel, the social science teacher at Newton High, gives up a lot of time on his own to help me with this program. I couldn't do it without him. And if I'd said that in public in front of him, he would throw a rock at me, but that's Carson's nature. So, but again, I'm glad to have you. My personal information's in there, Jason, and if you can send me your contact information so that we can make sure we're always communicating back and forth and I get you what you need to do the job. And I do buy you dinner too. So, okay. But I had a second thing I was going to ask you about, because it was probably 6 months ago that I asked you guys about looking at giving some assistance to senior citizens about their utilities. I emailed all of you prior to that, and then shortly after that, you came out with the community assistance program. The question that I had, I meet with a group of the precinct people every month. The thing that we were trying to grasp is how you budget $15,000 a year for a program. So over 4 years, that was $60,000, and thank you for doing that. But you only awarded $1,100. Where's the money go, is what we were trying to understand or figure out. I mean, does it get moved somewhere else? Do you carry it over to the next year? Or do you know, that's, we read the paper, I shared my newspaper with them, we read the article, and we were just trying to grasp where money goes, because we're outsiders looking in. That was a question I had for the group, and I don't know what the answer is to that.
We had the same question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So because it's a line item in a fund, in a budget, if the money is not spent, that cash stays in that fund. So it's kind of like a carryover. So it's essentially still in the fund.
Okay.
But this year we've budgeted that 15,000. With the change in the program coming, depending on the use, our hope is that the 15,000 gets used.
Right.
And depending on the success of the change of the program, we would come back to commission and say that 15,000 was used. Perhaps we need 20 or 30 or whatever. So yeah, it's a budget number. If the budget isn't used, it just stays in that fund.
It just rolls over that. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I appreciate you guys looking at that. It's the question I was going to ask you, and I'm fortunate that I get to travel, but Halstead's where I got the idea. And I just came back from Budapest, Hungary, and they do a thing for 65 years old, and you don't even have to be a citizen. I could ride any of their transportation in their city because I'm over 65. All they have to do is show the policeman my driver's license. I'm going, that's kind of a cool way to appreciate senior citizens. I went back and looked at the utility situation in the 4th Ward, which I kind of feel like I represent because that's where I live. There's approximately 610 households that are one person living in the house as a senior citizen over 65. Okay. Well, that senior citizen, the city is asking him to pay a minimum of $100 a month for water, sewer, trash, all that stuff. Well, that's one person. How much of that utility does he use? You know, when you really think about it, one of the people next door to me, her husband died, and she's a single lady that struggles to fill trash cans twice a month because she can't. She doesn't have enough. She doesn't use water that much, but yet she's paying the same rate for utilities as my wife and I, as you two do, or a family of 4 or 5. So I guess I was going to come back and ask, I says, why don't we kind of show that we appreciate senior citizens that pay property tax, try to maintain their properties, want to live in Newton, and maybe just give that sort of a household where they have one source of income, one person lives in the house, maybe just a $5 a month discount because they're not using all the utilities. I mean, they don't use, you charge them almost $30 a month for trash service, and they might fill their can twice a month. That's, I'm just looking for ideas because I want to appreciate the people that choose to stay in Newton, live in Newton, and participate, but at the same time, they're property tax holders because they want to live here. That was, I didn't want to give a speech. I'm just advocating for people that I know that live in my precinct. I go door to door and knock on my precinct doors. I met a lot of people during the school bond issue that would really appreciate you guys helping them out. So I'm done. I have a wonderful judge.
Awesome.
And thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All righty. We'll go around the horn. Anything?
I just wanted to make a quick little, we talked 4 different points about housing, and in my approximately 6 months on the commission, looking at housing and looking for this upcoming housing study, what I keep hearing is we need all of the above. And I'm hoping that this reset with the Newton Housing Authority can bring that group in with all of these other groups, the new Housing Alliance that United Way is leading, other groups working on housing. We need everybody to be collaborating, working together, communicating, so that as a community we can figure out all of the pieces of housing, the executive level, the affordable level, every level needs to be worked on, and we need everybody to work together, which I hope this reset can be part of that.
Thank you.
Nothing for me.
Denise?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Rebecca? Hey, Roy?
No, sir.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.